going.
Confident was like.
I can, yeah, well, you can, yes, no, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call today's Judicial and Public Safety Committee meeting to order. It is Thursday, December 11th at 9 a.m. May I please have roll call?
Gripe.
Here.
Gums.
Gums remote.
Linder.
Linda present.
Tepe. Williams. Leonard.
Leonard here.
Molina.
Molina present.
Roth.
Roth is here.
Okay, we have an in-person quorum and we have a remote attendance request from Ms. Gums. Any objection? Okay, Ms. Gums, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a request for approval of minutes of November 13th, 2020. Would anybody like to make a consent?
I would like to make movement for unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes of November 13th, 2025.
Okay, any objection to the approval of minutes? Hearing and seeing none, minutes are approved. We have no one signed up for public comment in person or online. So we'll move through the agenda here. The monthly financial reports are on file. Did anybody have any specific questions at this time regarding the financials? Okay, and I don't have anyone here from the Merit Commission, so we'll move straight to KingCom. Ms. Guthrie, good morning.
Good morning. Our monthly reports are on file. We have 2 telecommunicators that are in training. They continue through the training process. They're answering all emergency, non-emergency calls, doing our fire dispatch. We have another applicant that has passed all phases of the hiring process, and her starting date is the first week of January. So we're excited to have her join us. Our call for service reports, you will notice it was a busy month. We're up in activity. I contribute that to the snow. Our team has been very busy with every snow-related, ice-related event. And I just want to say, thank you to building maintenance specifically on Thanksgiving weekend when our team had some issues accessing the campus because of the weather. They need to be able to get to and from work, and building maintenance came out on Sunday and made sure to thoroughly plow the parking lot. So they didn't have any travel challenges. So thank you to building maintenance. I think that's all I have this morning. If anybody has any questions.
Okay, any questions for our KingCom director? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Gripe. There you are.
Okay, I'm hiding behind these ladies. They have hair, I don't. Curious, the 25 and the 24 numbers, what period of time during what period?
November. So
November.
this is only specific. Yes, this report, are you looking for the KingCom November, like the calls for service
Okay.
reports? So 24, that's November of 24 compared to November of 25.
It says that, but I didn't.
That's okay. That's okay. And then as we're almost to year end. So I'll do kind of a rough capture of, we're trending higher in calls for service in previous years. So I'll be able to provide that to the board. Next meeting, we'll have some rough numbers that we can bring in, and then we'll detail that in our annual report as well.
Is if I may, if the uptick you mentioned in December, obviously a lot, weather was weather. I'm sure we'll see that in December. Do you have any staffing concerns because of weather related stuff?
Yeah, any weather related or large activity, we monitor closely and we will increase staffing if that's necessary. If we have snow come in and we know the snow is coming, we will plan for that. Like I said, another big concern of ours is always access for our team. We'll make sure that we've, they can get to and from work, that there's no travel challenges that way. Stock up on stuff that they need here. If the snow is particularly bad, in the past, we've also reached out to OEM and gotten a couple cots just in case. That really came from the 2011 blizzard where we had people sleeping in the building because they couldn't travel. So anytime there's a weather event, we definitely make sure to plan for that and ensure that we have staffing to accommodate the volume of activity.
Thank you.
I remember that one.
Any other questions? That's okay. Okay, we will move on to emergency management.
So I just have a few announcements, I guess. The first one is our 50th anniversary dinner is in January. So just remind the board members, if they haven't already, to RSVP to that. And of course, I have a resolution or not a resolution, a proclamation for that at the end. The next thing is our new mass notification system is currently live. We have not yet announced it to the staff or the public, but those announcements will be coming this week. And so I gave everybody a copy of what the staff is going to be getting about that, and the rest will be getting that via email, like I said, this week or next week. The third thing is just a heads up that as we're completing our EOP, we're about 80% done. We should be done by around March or April. As we got into emergency purchasing, we found what I believe to be kind of a hole in the emergency purchasing ordinance. Basically, from under 10,000, any director can authorize a purchase. Over 30,000, emergency purchase can be authorized by the Madam Chair by signing the form. But from 10 to 30, there's no clear emergency purchase authority. So I've been working with the state's attorney to come up with a little bit of language update, and I'll be probably bringing that probably next month. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. This is something that would be for like 3 a.m, Saturday, Friday night, when you can't get 3 quotes for something and you have to do something right away. So that's something that we can discuss further going forward. But it was something that I don't want to have to do something in the middle of the night and then have people question why I did it later. So I want to make sure that I understand the rules and it's very clear for what can be done, but also allowing us to do what we need to do in the middle of a disaster. The last thing I have before I get to the proclamation is just a heads up that if everyone's been following national news, the FEMA Review Council has their final meeting this afternoon, and the draft report was leaked. It's on CNN. It's all over now if you want to take a look at it. But there's going to be a lot of discussions about what happens to FEMA and stuff going forward. Probably the biggest thing that I think coming out of that is going to affect us is the availability of disaster assistance. It's something that the federal government looks to be raising that threshold rather significantly. And it means that if we had a major disaster, that we're probably more or less on our own. Like currently, the current threshold for Kane County public assistance, which means government assistance to any government in the county, is 2.3 million in uninsured damages. Some of the talk was quadrupling that. So it would mean that we maybe need to consider a disaster fund. I know there's just a few financial issues lately, but it's something that going forward, I think that we need to look at to make sure that like this is not going to affect us with a small tornado like we've seen, but the big one, it probably would. So I just wanted to put that on everyone's radar. And that's all I have other than the proclamation.
Okay, any questions for Scott right now? Okay, Scott, why don't you go ahead and introduce that proclamation?
So this is just a proclamation recognizing the 50th anniversary of our agency. It was created by resolution January 13th, 1976. So interestingly enough, the December board meeting or the January board meeting will be on the 13th, the actual date. So that day when we have that proclamation, I'll have a few stats and some interesting tidbits, but we're taking this opportunity and we'll really be celebrating some history and using that opportunity for a lot of 2026. But starting in January, we have the banquet January 16th. So we've invited county board and a number of people, former volunteers, former staff, and of course all the current to have a chance to celebrate all the good things that have been done in the past 50 years.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve the proclamation?
Great moves.
Mr. Gripe moves.
Linder second.
Mr. Linder seconds. Any comments or questions? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Gripe,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Comes yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay. Proclamation passes on to executive. Okay, anything else? Okay, so we'll move on to our sheriff. Sheriff Hain, good morning.
I know my wonderful undersheriff is going to handle most of the business stuff, but I'm here to ask for your help with something. And I don't really ask for a whole lot. So we recently passed that resolution regarding ICE and their activity on county grounds. I know the governor just passed a bill. And this is very reminiscent of COVID times where we were not consulted when they started putting out executive orders and everybody thought that we could just arrest people for not wearing a mask or write them tickets. And it puts my people in a really hard place and I in a really hard place as I was just being yelled at in the parking lot by protesters thinking that I'm an ICE agent. Said, no, I'm your sheriff. And then they asked me, well, why are you not doing anything about them? And my explanation was, I can't. They're federal agents. This is public property. I know Ms. Mosser has given some direct statements about what we can and can't do. But what I'm asking for you all to consider is when you are contacted by your constituents complaining about the sheriff's office not putting these people in custody or writing ICE agents tickets, please understand that we simply can't. And I totally sympathize with the political posture of that resolution, but we really have to be cognizant of the horrible place it puts our people in who just are trying to do a good job and keep the place safe. And so what we've done to mitigate a lot of the ICE issues is I've known ICE agents throughout my career. This is my 8th year as sheriff, my 32nd year wearing a badge and a uniform. So I know a lot of these people and we've made contact with the local supervisor. We tried to negotiate how they behave around the sheriff's office campus and the courthouse. And that's about the best that we can do. And I will tell you that they're also human beings that are kind of stuck in a bad position that they don't want to be in. And they're just doing a job. And so they're trying to be as compliant as they can with us. But again, I'm just asking you all, when you get complaints from a constituent, that's all we can do is negotiate. So that's it. That was the help I was looking for. Put it on your radar. Any questions for me?
Sheriff Payne,
I
I
do-
have a question for Ms. Gums and then a couple from board members here. Ms. Gums, go ahead.
Thank you. Ron, just a quick question. I do try to educate folks as best as I can about what you are and are not allowed to do. I think there's a great ignorance there that people, it's not stupidity, it's not for this, it's a lack of information. So I do my best to educate. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm suggesting that they're stupid. It's just education. What can we sit down? Can I have a conversation with you at some point to get that education out to our people? Because me saying it is really not good enough and hasn't been good enough. So maybe we can collaborate in some fashion to do a video, or I don't know. We'll collaborate somehow because it is a tricky situation. I think we're doing everything, the board is doing everything certainly that we can, and we appreciate the efforts of the judiciary campus and you to navigate that. So education, I think, is the key here.
I agree. I'm going to assign my undersheriff to deal with it from now on. So.
Oh, fair enough.
And I
Good
think,
cop
Ms.
out.
Not to put our state's attorney on right now, but I think she's provided some guidance of maybe if we can just do a little bit more to just put that out there for people to understand, you know, what it is that our sheriff's department is able and not able to do. That way it's kind of an official statement from our
Official
state's
It
attorney.
is not
Yes.
her turn.
Every 5 minutes is my turn. I think
Yes.
we've established that.
I know that.
So the Trust Act was created, and this was actually created back by Governor Rauner, so Republican governor that we had. The Trust Act minimized what local law enforcement could do in regards to assistance with any federal immigration enforcement. It basically says that they cannot do anything unless there is a criminal warrant that has been presented to them. So if there's a criminal warrant, they can do an assist. And when that happens, there's even other items that they can do, like translating a warrant. That has happened before with the sheriff's office. Otherwise, if it's civil immigration enforcement, they cannot assist in any way. If an individual who's being taken into custody by ICE breaks a state law, so for example, if they strike a police officer, that's aggravated battery. If they resist that immigration officer, that's resisting a peace officer, they are entitled to help them because that's breaking state law at that point, and it is enforcing that portion of it. Now, this new House Bill 1312 that has just passed into law essentially regulates different areas: hospitals, schools, daycares, and courthouses. And it says that federal law enforcement cannot enforce civil immigration enforcement, not criminal, civil immigration enforcement within 1,000 feet of a courthouse. What does this mean for the sheriff's office? So let's say right outside of the courthouse, a person is being taken into custody by a federal immigration agent on a civil immigration issue. What can the sheriff's office do? Absolutely nothing, because the way that this bill was written, the only enforcement is for somebody to sue those federal immigration officials civilly. And that would be a personal lawsuit by the person who's been affected by it through a civil lawsuit. The sheriff's office can do absolutely nothing. So if 911 is called by an individual because of this, there is no crime that's being broken. So the sheriff's office should not be responding to that situation because there's nothing literally they can do. In fact, they could put themselves in more harm's way by showing up because there is this civil litigation. This is one of the things I fought against with this bill, is because I didn't want our local law enforcement who are being called to these scenes sometimes to maintain what is happening to somehow be enfolded into these lawsuits, because if a federal law enforcement agency is doing something that violates the law, I don't want our people to get sued because they're just trying to maintain order and the dignity of the court system. So right now there is pretty much nothing that our state and local law enforcement can do, despite the passage of this new law and even with our resolution. With our resolution, that again is just a reporting mechanism. So let's say ICE decides that they want to go over to my courthouse and be in the parking lot. I'm sorry, Judge Villa's parking. Good, he's not here. My courthouse. So let's say that's what happens. The only thing that can happen is it's reported to the county board. There's nothing the sheriff's office can do about that. And so it's a big, important thing to realize that these laws are only regulating federal, but it's not something that our local can regulate. I hope that answers the
Yes,
question.
but I want everyone to be aware, because it affects everyone in this room. 3 to 4 times a week, we have ICE at our facility. About twice a week, we have foot pursuits in our front parking lot, which affects JJC. It affects the safety of the courthouse. It affects everybody, and fights in our front lobby when they're trying to take people into custody. So that's that crossover where we see it happening. We have to take enforcement action to keep.
Correct.
people
And that's
safe.
my state law.
Excuse
So
me, it's
that's
still my
exactly
time.
right. Yes. Oh,
Don't woman interrupt me.
yeah.
But my number one concern, and I've been telling all of our folks, and I've been telling the ICE people, like, my deputies are very well trained, very aware of their surroundings, and I don't want them in plain clothes fighting with somebody or chasing somebody in our parking lot. Because if one of my deputies sees that, or one of us sees that, we're going to take enforcement action, and we're not going to know who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. So it is, Amy, would you say almost a daily management of nonsense at our campus? So, yeah. But Mike, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. And, you know, I fully heard what you said about you've known these guys, a lot of them for a long time and so forth. But indeed, when your officers are out there, the guy's masked, he's not wearing a badge, he's come up in a car with out-of-state license plates. How do you really know he's ICE?
Well, that's why we negotiated with them to make sure that all the ICE agents working around us are wearing full gear.
Okay.
And they're not masked when they come into our office. They're very clearly, we know who they are. But
Thank you.
took some negotiating.
I'm sorry, Mr. Linder, did you have anything else?
So,
Okay, Mr. Gripe?
Thank you. I've been biting my tongue so hard. Well, not because of what you're saying, but because of what we've all done to contribute to this. And I mean, the number of times I've heard people in public comment say, they can't do this anymore. This is against the law. We should be arresting them. They're not wearing badges. They're, you know, this and this and this. And we just sit here and go, it's not true. And to the extent we don't say anything, we are making this problem worse. So for that, I apologize. I've tried to say things after people say things here, but you know, when we passed the original resolution and I asked for an amendment to support law enforcement that's doing their jobs right, it failed. And so all we have is this, you know, the politicians have put you in this mess, you know, state politicians, federal politicians, and I apologize for it.
Trump,
So,
sorry.
yeah, well, but it's people locally who don't understand and do the wrong thing. So you're trying to do your job right. What I think would help is maybe a video might be good, but if we could just get a short summary that we could email, post to people about what's really,
Sure.
you know, involved in this, then we could, you know, bring down the vitriol that's out there and try
So,
and
I'll
make it-
work with, I'm sorry, I didn't
No,
mean
please.
to interrupt you,
That-
but
that's
I'll
fine.
work with Ms. Mosser to get a press release together. It's just going to be a paragraph on what we can and can't do. And then you guys will get that. We'll put it out to the press as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's
Great.
just,
Do I have to
I mean,
talk to you,
it's,
Dave?
it's difficult for all of us. I know you know, my community has really been affected by what's happened with ICE. And, you know, to watch that and to say, we think it's wrong because of what's happening, yet at the same time, you know, we don't want to put our law enforcement in the middle of it because there's nothing that you can do about it. And that in itself, I think is really, it's hard for a lot of people to just watch
Mhm.
because, you know, you see people being pulled out of their cars. You don't know why they're being pulled out of their cars. And if we call 911 and, you know, which is, you know, someone's being kidnapped, whatever, however you want to say it, there's nothing that our law enforcement can do because we've just been put in the situation where people are being kidnapped. We don't know why. And we have to kind of trust the system that we feel is broken. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of emotions and I totally respect what you're saying and I appreciate it. And I'm very supportive of what our sheriff's department is doing. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to include the sheriff and I think with Ms. Mosser when we were working on it, this is just a reporting mechanism. All we can do is report what we're seeing. And at some point somewhere, maybe somebody's going to be able to do something about it. But at this point, it's hard to watch and you guys are watching it every day. So I'm you know, I'm sorry that you
No, I
have
just
to do
wanted you all
that.
to be on the same page.
Yeah, and I
That's
think
all
we
it was.
are. I think we are. I think it's just important that like, you know, we put something out there because I am getting calls daily that there's people that their ICE agents are at the judiciary. I'm getting videos and they're masked. You know, they're taking people out. My assumption is that they have your jail, but I can't make that decision. I can't say anything. And the ICE agents aren't going to show the protesters their judicial warrant because that's not their job. So it's kind of, you know, we're all put in this difficult position and you guys are seeing it daily. So I want to thank you for that. And I'm sorry that you're being put in that position.
No worries. As long as we're all on the same page, I
Um,
appreciate us all being on the same team. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
thank you.
Ms. Gums, you wanted to add something too?
I absolutely do. I'm sorry, but I do have to push back. I know we're spending a little bit too much time on this topic, but it's kind of a big deal. Mr. Gripe, I applaud your efforts to always call out and suggest that we're supportive of law enforcement. Certainly we are. This relationship that the sheriffs and local municipal officers have with ICE is not new. It is decades and decades old. What we are seeing with our own eyes is different today than it was 2 years ago. It is different. And to suggest that we are not seeing what we are seeing with our own eyes, the reason I find it offensive is because our local law enforcement would not be in the position they are in were it not for Donald Trump and this regime of human beings that are acting the way they're acting. So yes, you are seeing what you're seeing. And I'm extremely offended because I find that my community is important and so are our local law enforcement. And they would not be in this position. We're not historically in this position until this nonsense started happening. And we'll do the best we can, but to suggest that we don't support local law enforcement because we didn't pass it in a resolution it was apples and oranges. One has not anything to do with the other. And I just want to put that on record.
Thank you, Ms. Gums. Mr. Gripe, and then I think we're gonna
Yeah.
take the rest of this offline.
Sorry I offended you, Michelle, but you know, it's words that I've seen police officers pull people out of their cars, you know, legitimately. That's the way it works. And for me to look at a situation and say that I know what's going on, I know if it's civil or criminal, I know they're ICE agents or they're not. I know they're DEA. Well, they wear masks and they don't wear badges. We've got to watch our language, to say that someone's being kidnapped when in fact they might be arrested for cause. If we don't know, we shouldn't say anything. And even if we do know, I don't think that saying things like that with words like that, even if it's true, doesn't help anybody, because the people begin to see every single interaction with any kind of law enforcement as that. They don't know, which is why Ron's having to deal with this stuff, is because we just pour a little more gasoline on the fire. So let's watch our language. Let's try and be peaceful. Let's try and obey the law, get our constituents to obey the law, and respect as best we can what's going on. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sheriff Payne. Anything else for us?
I wish Michelle and John would ever have an opinion. I never know what they're thinking. No, I appreciate your time. Amy, did you want to add anything for our monthly report?
No.
Well said.
Okay. Well,
right.
thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Okay. And now we will move on to our coroner. Dr. Silva, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. So we had a total of 297 cases in November. Oh, Sheriff just left. I hadn't asked for him, but so Amy, I guess you're it. 297 total cases in November. I will move through this fast because we are in the middle of our site inspection for reaccreditation with the International Association of Coroners and Medical Examiners. So I'd like to get to my office. But we did have we do have a breakdown of what gone on in the individual municipalities, and that is in the report. But I'd like to point out that Aurora had one homicide. We had 2 motor vehicles in Aurora. One is Aurora Yorkville, because remember, they can happen, but they in Yorkville, and then the individual person is transferred to Copley Hospital, which is in our jurisdiction. So that counts as one of our deaths. We had 2 suicides in Park and 1 in St. Charles. And we had 1 suspected overdose in Aurora, 1 in Carpentersville, 1 in Montgomery, and 1 in South Elgin. I will entertain any questions if you have it. Otherwise, I wish you all very, very happy holidays. Madam?
Thank you, Dr. Silva. Any questions for our coroner? Okay, good luck with your accreditation process.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Judiciary and Courts.
Good morning. Judge Villa cannot be here today. We have nothing to report, but we're happy to answer any questions that you may have this morning.
Okay, any questions for our judiciary? Okay, Mr. Grape.
I have one. Judge Keith.
Judge Johnson?
Thank you. He's in Kiwanis with me. And we get a monthly report on what's going on in the judiciary. I know that several of us went to the graduation for the drug court, which was amazing. I never even knew that happened before I got here. Is that something that happens only once a year? And
it happens twice a year.
Twice a year. Excellent. A communication of that. So I'm assuming anybody could come.
Absolutely, we can. We have a drug court graduation. We have a DUI court graduation. We have a vet court graduation. So we're happy to include everyone.
Yeah, when we know about that, I'll start communicating it more, but I think it's something the public needs to see. It's just super positive, and it's wonderful reinforcement of how you all do your job so well and help people change their lives.
It is a wonderful experience, and we'd love to have you participate and share that with us. Lisa, do you have anything that you want to add? Okay.
Mr. Linder?
Mr. Grape's comment, I agree wholeheartedly. I do want to point out that again is one of those things that we are not mandated to be doing by the state legislature, but that we would be very amiss to not be doing it. That's one of our financial problems here in Kane County, is we do so many things that nobody is holding a hammer over our head to do, but we're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. State's Attorney.
So we are very busy right now and it's only going to increase. One of the things that people need to understand is as the holiday season goes through, crime has an uptick for that. We're going to definitely see that in retail theft, DUI cases, and domestic violence cases. So this is going to be a huge burden that's obviously put on our telecommunicators because they get an increased amount of calls through this time, and obviously all of our local law enforcement and then our state's attorney's offices. We are continuing to seek out programming that helps people kind of break these cycles with addiction issues and mental health issues. We are going to be seeking some additional funding. We've made an application through Department of Human Services to get some funding to help with our human trafficking division. I have to tell you, we have some pretty significant investigations going on and think that we're going to have some significant arrests at the beginning of the year as a result of that. My other disturbing statistic, because I only like to bring the room down anytime I publicly speak, is that we are still seeing a significant rise in our child pornography cases. The sheer amount of these things that we're getting in just through cyber tips and then going in through the investigations. If you're at all on any of our social media or you're connected to any of our mailing lists, you're going to see the majority of our press releases now are really coming out because of arrests for possession, manufacturing and distribution of child, as well as significant prison sentences as a result of it. Other than that, we are chugging along as we usually do. I actually got to be in a courtroom and got to do a trial. So I was very excited to be a lawyer again and not just a politician. So from my office to all of you, we wish you a happy, safe, hopefully crime-free holiday season. And I'm here for any questions. Otherwise, our financial report's on file. I am happy to report that as every other year, we are under budget because we are being extremely fiscally responsible.
Thank you, State's Attorney Mosser. Any questions for our State's Attorney? Okay, we will move on to our Public Defender.
Good morning. Our reports are on file. I would be happy to answer any questions on those. Otherwise, I would wish you all happy holidays.
Thank you. Any questions for our Public Defender? Okay, moving along. Court Services.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Before I get into the resolutions, because we have quite a few, I want to thank you guys so much. So I emailed out a list of kids of participants in our specialty courts that we were just talking about. And every single one of those kids is getting a present this year. So that's super, super happy. As you guys know, when they enter something like drug court, we make them go to inpatient. So many times parents are not home for the holidays and the kids are left behind with a caregiver. So this means so much to them. It means so much to me. It means so much to the courts. We're very thankful. Thank you very, very much. Within 2 weeks, we got all the kids done. It was over 50 kids. It was amazing. Thank you. Okay, so my monthly reports are on file. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, because we do have a lot of resolutions, I did bring, I think Mr. Mike Davis, who's the superintendent of the JJC, he'll handle that portion. But if you're ready, I'll roll into the resolutions.
Okay, any questions at this point? Okay, yep, go ahead and introduce your first one.
So my first resolution, I have to say that somebody realized that we have a Scrivener's error on the first resolution. It says that the RFP is 2024, something like that. We're in year 25, so it's 25. So that's a small Scrivener's error. We'll fix that going forward. But the resolution is just informing the board that we are entering into contracts for our drug court to provide rehabilitation services to the participants. This is being paid out of probation fees. There's no impact on the general fund whatsoever, which is why the chief judge has already entered into it. I'm just looking for your approval of the acknowledgement that we've done that.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve the resolution, including the Scrivener's error?
Leonard will move.
Gripe
Mr. Leonard
second.
moves. Mr. Gripe seconds. Any questions or comments? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Gripe,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Lena, yes. Okay, that passes.
Thank you. And I will now turn it over to Mr. Davis.
Good morning. My first resolution is for a medical services contract for the Juvenile Justice Center. It needs to be amended I've passed out hard copies of the contract, which I just received on Friday. which has already been signed by Advanced Correctional Health. It's already been vetted by the Civil Division. So we need to amend the resolution to reflect that attach the contract and amend the resolution to reflect that Madam Chair is authorized to sign the attached 4-year contract with Advanced Correctional Health rather than the resolution. Do we need to proceed with that first, or do you want me to get into the resolution?
Yep, let's go ahead and make a motion in a second to introduce the resolution.
Great moves.
Mr. Gripe moves.
Leonard will second.
Mr. Leonard seconds. Okay, now may I have a motion in a second to amend the resolution as requested?
Linder will move.
Mr. Linder moves.
Gums will second.
Ms. Gum seconds. Okay, any questions on the amendment? Okay, may I please have roll call on the amendment?
Grape,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard,
Molina, yes. Okay, now let's go back to the resolution as amended. Any questions regarding the resolution? Okay, may I have a roll call on that?
Grape,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, the amended resolution has passed. Okay, next one.
All right, so I have 6 detention service agreements. All of these agreements are for a annual a daily per diem of $225. The first is an agreement with Wayne County to house their kids at our facility, again with a $225 a day per diem.
Okay, may I have a motion in a second to discuss and potentially approve a resolution?
Linder will move.
Mr. Linder moves.
Gripe, second.
Mr. Gripe seconds.
Madam
Any
Chair,
questions or
Gums.
comments? Ms. Gums?
I do have a parliamentary question. Is it possible for us to move all these at once since the only thing changing is the agency?
I believe Ms. Brady's going to answer that.
Our recommendation, if it involves money, that they be read separately.
Okay,
But-
fair enough.
Chair on how she wants to conduct.
Okay.
Meeting.
Okay, any questions regarding the first resolution for Wayne County? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Grape,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, that passes.
The second is King County will house Lawrence County minors at the Juvenile Justice Center at a per diem rate of $225 per day.
Okay.
Linder will move.
May I have a motion in a second?
Linder.
Mr. Linder moves.
Leonard seconds.
Mr. Leonard seconds. Questions, comments? Okay, may I please have roll call on this resolution?
Grape,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, this one passes.
The third is King County will house Richland County minors at its Juvenile Justice Center at a per diem rate of $225 per day.
Okay, may I have a motion in a second to discuss and potentially approve the resolution?
Linder moves.
Mr. Linder moves.
Leonard seconds.
Mr. Leonard seconds. Any questions or comments? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Grape,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, this one passes. Next one.
King County will house Franklin County minors at its Juvenile Justice Center at a per diem of $225 per day.
Okay, may I have a motion in a second to discuss and potentially approve the resolution?
Linder moves.
Mr. Linder moves.
Gripe, second.
Mr. Gripe seconds. Any questions or comments? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Grape,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay,
King- Next, Kane County will house Crawford County minors at its Juvenile Justice Center at a per diem of $225 per day.
okay, may I have a motion in a second to discuss and potentially approve?
Linder moves.
Mr.
Gripe
Linder
second.
moves. Mr. Gripe seconds. Questions, comments? Okay, may I please have roll call?
Grape,
Gripe, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, this one passes.
Kane County will house White County minors at its Juvenile Justice Center at a per diem of $225 per day.
Okay, may I have a motion in a second to discuss and potentially approve?
Linder moves.
Mr. Linder moves.
Gripe, second.
Mr. Gripe seconds.
Madam Chair, I just have,
Question, Mr.
yeah,
Roth?
just a quick question. How many counties are participating now with us?
So currently we have 12 agreements in place. Another was just approved by the board on Tuesday, which will 13. And then 6 more, so 19.
19. And what percent or number of kids are from other counties versus our,
The majority.
okay. And are we even close to the max or we got plenty of room?
Max is, we have 80 beds in our facility. The
Okay.
laws have changed a lot the last few years. So, ideally we're staffed for 35 to 40 kids.
Okay, so we still have growth room.
Yeah, so we still have room to grow. I am talking to a few other jurisdictions, and I'm adding language to all of these contracts to limit the number of kids we take once we get to a certain number.
Okay.
Our medical contract, our food contract, they all have escalators if we go over 40 kids. So we're being careful about that.
Okay.
And I was going to say at the end, thank you for bringing it up, that Mr. Davis has worked very hard to recruit additional counties so that we can keep as many kids there as possible and bring in revenue. Our goal is to make it really, really hard for you to want to cut them. Ideally, they're going to
understand.
be pretty darn close to self-sustaining
Yeah.
pretty soon.
No, I think it's a great program and thank you for all you guys do.
A lot of work.
Mr. Gripe, did you have a question?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great stuff. I mean, my question is, you said we're staffed for about 35 to 40 beds-ish. Okay. At what point or how far above 40 do you think we can go before we need to hire somebody, or do we say no to a county, or what do we do?
Yeah, in the contracts, I have put that once we get to 30, we're holding off on taking any more for some of these jurisdictions. That's not our existing contracts. The 12 that we currently have in place will continue to take those kids. We've had longstanding agreements with those jurisdictions.
And like Mr. Davis said, it's mostly we have the cap on because of the our service agreements, like the medical contracts have limits on the number of kids that we can serve. So we would just need to renegotiate those contracts and we'd come back to you and talk it out whether or not it makes financial sense to pursue that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments regarding the intergovernmental agreement with White County? Okay, hearing and seeing none, may I please have roll call?
Gripe,
Gripe, yes?
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, and all these IGAs passed to finance.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Anything else? Okay, Circuit Clerk.
Good morning, everyone. My report's on file if anybody has any questions. If you could take a look at the report, you'll see that we're projecting to be up about 6%. Obviously, the December numbers are not in here, but as the state's attorney said, incidents will be up. We'll get a lot of paperwork to file by the end of the year because we have to make sure that we have everything in and finished from 25 going into 26. So it's a big project. So we're a little slow, which is okay because everything rolls in at the end of the month. We are still down, I believe, 4 clerks in the process of hiring a few. We have moved someone into a supervisor position that the supervisor retired. So I don't expect any more retirements right now. We have a very young workforce, about 42 employees in the past 3 years that are have only been with us a few years. So I don't expect any retirement soon. And then I have one resolution.
Okay, any questions at this point? Okay, do you want to introduce that resolution, please?
Yes, it is a resolution authorizing the budget adjustment to balance the child support fund for year 2025. We're taking monies from our printing and putting it into that.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to discuss and potentially approve the resolution?
Leonard will move.
Mr. Leonard moves.
Linder, second.
Mr. Linder seconds. Okay, any questions? No?
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Gripe.
Of course, it's just an obvious one. It's great that we can move it from printing, but are you not going to print as much anymore, or what's?
We're just going to move funds around to make it work.
Okay,
We have funds in other areas, so we'll just move them around.
but will you be short in printing now because we're
No,
taking?
we'll be fine.
No?
We'll take it out of conference or something.
Okay.
And this is for fiscal year 2025, so.
Right, correct.
Mhm.
And we'll technically, I think, be giving back again another $1 million. So,
Thank you.
Okay, may I please have roll call?
Gripe,
Gripe, yes?
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes. Okay, and this passes on to finance as well. Okay, on to old business. The 2026 committee goals. Anybody have any suggestions? Did anybody do their homework? I'm gonna say I didn't, so I will be very honest. I didn't really have time to review this. Ms. Gums, did you have something for us?
Madam Chair, I think something that I would like to see a goal in judicial is to cohesively have any legislation that affects us on the bottom line. So if there's unfunded mandates, et cetera, that we already have as a goal, that's something I find to be extremely important in this particular administration, given with what we're facing with FEMA. That's a huge situation. I mean, there's a lot of huge situations legislatively that touch judicial, and I would like to get ahead of those on the legislative committee side. Some cohesive communication would be helpful.
Okay, yeah, let's work on something like that. That's a good goal. Anybody else had anything? Mr. Gripe?
I had a few. I don't know if the Safety Act still a thing, but I mean it is. But anyway, I agree with Michelle on reviewing the unfunded mandates, but more how they, not only what she said, but how's that impacting each department. So I think, you know, when I stand back from this meeting, we get great input. But I think the committee could help and say, well, sheriff's office is doing this and OEM is doing this. Is there something we could coordinate? Not that you guys aren't coordinating, but, you know, stand back and look at the 50,000 foot level. I don't know how to phrase this, but what are different departments doing that we need to help them do better by working with others or something? That's like so amorphous. It's ridiculous. But I think that's what the committee could do, because you all report into us and we're usually like, okay, this is a silo and this is a silo, but the silos impact each other. You all know that. We all know that. So some way that we could look at coordination in some way, shape or form, that would be good. The other thing that we could look at is emerging trends legally or otherwise. So evaluate emerging trends for the impact on these departments. In other words, are there federal laws that are changing, state laws that are changing? Are there situations that are coming up? So the state no longer does X, or local municipalities aren't doing X or Y, or they are doing X or Y and we don't need to do them. Things like that. Just again, 30,000 foot level, trying to figure out what's going on around us that is either going to complicate your lives or maybe make your lives a little better. Again, so amorphous, it stinks. But that's just what I was trying to think from a.
Okay, anybody else had anything? So if I can ask Ms. Gums and Mr. Gripe to kind of work together and come up with maybe 2 or 3 that just something legislatively, like you said, something cooperatively. And then is that okay, Ms. Gums?
It is, and I don't want it to be dismissive of all the hard work our other partners at this table do. They're on top of the legislative stuff. I know they deal directly with them. I'm not suggesting otherwise. I just think that it would be great. Mr. Gripe and I can work on that together. I still love you, John, FYI. And
I never stopped.
So we can utilize the team that we have in place as well to help them in any way we can.
Yeah, I think something to say that, you know, we're supportive of, so we're here to obviously support each and every one of the people who report to our committee and kind of make it so that they're able to communicate with us and we're supportive of whatever their issues are. And then Michelle and Scott will work on kind of something individually for OEM and KCOM, maybe one from each of you just for next year's committees, just so that we have, let's kind of try to do four goals, one for each of our commit, one for KCOM, one for OEM, and then 2 that are kind of encompassing everybody. Does that sound good?
I think it's a great idea. And if there's anything you all think you would like, I mean, let's ask the people that do the work. If there's something you think we could add that would be helpful to you, please let us know. Michelle will put it in English. I'll make it this long.
Yeah. So if you can,
sure,
let us know. Ms. Pereira.
To add that, no, the Safety Act is not done.
Yeah, okay.
It's a trickle down effect, and we're seeing a lot of that now that we all feared would happen. So there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike that's in legislation that still all pertains to the Safety Act. Like, for instance, we have a lot of expungements that are going to occur next year, automatic expungements, and we're trying to wrap our heads around how we are going to process that. We have 2 people that work on expungements now. Originally, I had asked for ARPA funds for an expungement clerk, but at the time it was hard to justify because we hadn't seen what's coming now. So it is a trickle down, and I think it'll be for another, at least 2 years.
So maybe we keep that one. I don't know if we have to include the word financial,
can-
but just impact.
Right, we impact or the legislation that follows it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Gums?
I apologize.
ahead.
That sparked a question that I have for Ms. Barrero. It had passed through my mind recently that a lot of the immigration situations are occurring because of felonies that are related or some kind of nonviolent situation. I wondered, is there an uptick in requests for expungements? Are you seeing that at all? I think that'd be a great goal.
Yes, there is. In fact, I had just asked our clerk, I need some numbers to find out, like, because we get them weekly, we get them daily, but we get a chunk of them every week at one time. And the problem is by the time the order comes through that it's expunged, that's not on the radar anymore because it's just paperwork, right? So we need some reports, and we're discussing this in the office to find out how many are actually being expunged. And because we know how many applications come through, but we don't have the numbers for how many actually have been expunged. It takes a little more work. But yes, we're seeing a lot, and folks are not coming to court because they're afraid. Folks coming in, getting their records, all their information to prove that they've paid all their fines and that, just in case they get stopped. But we have seen an uptick in this for a few months since all of this started. And, we have them going around our building also, so. It's a tough subject.
Okay. Anything else related to committee goals? Mr. Grape?
It's actually a question related to expungements. I know the word, but I don't know the process. Maybe everybody else does. Is there somebody that could explain it starts here and it works its way to here?
Well, Aaron?
I can give you the English version, John.
That works.
So somebody comes and says, I want my record expunged, and then they fill out the paperwork, and then it has to go to a judge, and then they decide.
Right, and they have to fill out, I'll just give my estimate of it also. So they come, like I have expungement seminars.
You can talk to the microphone. It's not rude.
I just feel weird talking to you
Yeah,
behind my head.
Thank you.
So a person comes in, they fill out the application. We do have waivers for the fee. I believe it's $265 or $235. I'm not exactly sure. And then they put down all their cases on the application. But if they miss a case and they want to have that expunged, that's another application. They can't add to it once it's been submitted. And then it goes through the process to see if it is expungement eligible. And it has to be a minor crime, can't be a DUI, can't be a felony conviction, like murder or anything like that. No convictions, depends on the conviction though. So like shoplifting or something like that. And it does take a process. I believe it's 60 days before they find out if it's been approved or not. And these are just in Kane County. This isn't for anything outside of Kane County. I mean, it's throughout the state, but we just handle Kane County. Did you want to add to that?
both explanations are complete. The only other thing I would add is that our office gets a copy, the arresting police agency gets a copy of the
Right.
petition to review it on those ends to make sure they are compliant, and they will or will not lodge an objection.
Say that a little closer.
They will or will not lodge an objection depending on what the record shows on their end. But that's right, an order is entered if it's granted, and that order goes to the circuit clerk and to the state police and to the police department that made the arrest, and they're ordered to wipe away all their records, to destroy their records, or
Well, they
separate them. at seal
Right,
next-
they,
yes.
we remove them from
Okay,
the file.
Thank you.
Juvenile expungements are going to be automatic also, so those are, it's just, there's a lot coming down the pike. Sometimes, an order could, if there's an objection, the person would file again, but it's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of patience. And, but it's phenomenal once it gets expunged because a person can go on with their life.
Mhm.
And there is a time frame from when an offense occurs before it can be expunged also. And it depends on the violation.
Thank you.
Okay, good information. Any other questions? Okay, so we provided homework for the committee goals. So if we can have that maybe before the next meeting. So if anybody wants to email me from anywhere else, or I guess if you can email me and then I'll share that information with Ms. Gums and Mr. Gripe. That way, like if Ms. Barrero, Ms. Ost, if you have anything you want to add, and then Michelle, Scott, whoever wants to, and then I'll forward that over to them, and then we'll put something together to review for next month. Okay, any new business anybody would like to discuss? Okay, may I have a motion to place reports on file?
Linda would move.
Mr. Linder moves.
Mr. Leonard seconds.
Mr. Leonard seconds. Okay, any questions or comments? So may I please have roll call? Oh, just all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Reports are placed on file. We have no need for executive session. Ms. Brady, will we do the closed session minutes in January?
Do you know what? I don't know where we are in that cycle. Savannah's nodding her head yes, so it
January?
sounds like
Okay,
that's in
okay.
process.
May I have a motion and a second to, well, actually, before I adjourn, I just wanted to express our thanks and gratitude to all of our judiciary partners, first responders who are going to be working through the holiday season. We appreciate that you're spending time away from your families to do the job that needs to be done and to keep us all safe. So Merry Christmas to everybody and happy holidays. Okay, anybody else want to say anything? Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Linda moves adjournment.
Okay, Mr. Linder moves.
Leonard will second.
Mr. Leonard seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?